how to actually beat overthinking. A lot of people watching this video probably believe that there is nothing they can do about their overthinking habit. They think that we are who we are and there's nothing we can do about it. This is a common mistake that a lot of people make. The interesting part, and what I will prove in this video, is that anyone, literally anyone, can control their overthinking easily just by following a few simple principles I use to stop overthinking. This video might actually be the turning point in your life too. While I go over these principles, try visualizing how you can apply them in your own life. It will help you better learn the following principles. Principle 1. Map your thoughts. My mind would be filled with what if this happens, what if that happens. I used to be lost in it. The game changer, I started writing down my thoughts. Simple yet powerful. It's like turning on the lights in a dark room. Writing them down helped me see the chaos, understand it, and gradually take control. When I first started, I'd sit with a blank page and just let it flow. No judgment, no editing, just a stream of consciousness. It felt relieving to transfer the mess from my mind onto paper. Sometimes it was messy, sometimes it was profound, but every time it was relieving. What surprised me most was how patterns emerged. Seeing my thoughts laid out in black and white gave me clarity. I could identify recurring themes, irrational fears, and nagging doubts. It was like shining a spotlight on the monsters under the bed. Once illuminated, they didn't seem so scary anymore. But it wasn't just about venting. I started to ask questions. Why did I fixate on certain worries? What triggered these thoughts? By digging deeper, I understood my worries were little things adding up. Once I understood my thought patterns, I could challenge them, questioning the validity of my fears and challenging my assumptions. It was like having a debate with my own mind, and surprisingly, I often won. So the next time you are overthinking, remember principle 1, map your thoughts. The next principle will make anyone stop overthinking. Embrace the present moment. I was the king of overthinking. Every decision, every interaction, every moment dissected, analyzed, and agonized over. It was exhausting. Then I start to realize the present moment is all we have. Think about it. The past is done. The future is uncertain, but the present, it's a gift. That is why it is called the present. I started practicing mindfulness, the art of being fully present in the moment, and it transformed my life. Instead of getting lost in a whirlwind of what ifs and could have beens, I learned to anchor myself in the here and now. Whether I was just sitting alone, engaging in conversation with friends, family, or I was in the classroom, I made a conscious effort to be fully present. At first, it was challenging. My mind would wander, but I gently brought myself back to the present moment. I focused on my breath, the sights and sounds around me, and gradually it became easier. By embracing the present moment, I let go of the need to control everything. I stopped over-analyzing about the past and worrying about the future. Instead, I savored each moment, finding joy in the simple pleasures of life. And you know what? I actually started to control my overthinking. So here's my challenge to you. Try mindfulness. Start with just a few minutes a day. Sit quietly, focus on your breath, and let the present moment wash over you. It may feel awkward at first, but stick with it. Before you know it, you'll be living more fully, more joyfully, and overthinking will become a thing of the past. Principle 3. Cultivate self-compassion. Overthinking often stems from a place of self-doubt and self-criticism. We're our own worst critics, constantly berating ourselves for perceived mistakes and shortcomings. But what if I told you there's a better way? For years, I was my own worst critic. Every mistake, every misstep was met with harsh judgment and overthinking for days. But then I learned about self-compassion, and it changed the way I viewed myself and my struggles. Instead of beating myself up for my shortcomings, I started to treat myself with the same kindness and understanding that I would offer to a friend in need. When I made a mistake, I didn't ignore it or downplay it, but I also didn't let it define me. Here's the beautiful thing about self-compassion. It's also a powerful antidote to overthinking. When you treat yourself with kindness and understanding, you break the cycle of overthinking and self-doubt. So the next time you find yourself caught in a spiral of overthinking, pause for a moment and offer yourself some compassion. Remind yourself that you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. And watch as the grip of overthinking loosens. So far, we've gone over 3 principles on how to stop overthinking, map your thoughts, embrace the present moment, and cultivate self-compassion. There are still 2 more really important principles that we still haven't talked about. The 4th principle is to set realistic expectations. Overthinking is the pressure we put on ourselves to meet unrealistic expectations. I've been there myself, setting impossibly high standards and then beating myself up when I inevitably fell short. It was a vicious cycle that only fueled my overthinking and robbed me of joy in the present moment. But then I learned the power of setting realistic expectations. It's not about lowering the bar or settling for mediocrity. Rather, it's about finding a balance between ambition and self-compassion. By setting realistic expectations, I've been able to break free from the cycle of overthinking and embrace a more balanced approach to life. I no longer feel pressured to have all the answers or achieve impossible feats overnight. Instead, I focus on progress over perfection, knowing that every step forward is a victory in itself. Start by setting achievable goals and celebrating your progress along the way. Practice self-compassion when things don't go as planned, and remind yourself that you're doing the best you can with the resources you have. By setting realistic expectations, you'll not only alleviate the burden of overthinking, but also create space for joy, fulfillment, and peace of mind. That was the 4th principle. Set realistic expectations. The last principle may be the most important and simple one. Take action. I used to be trapped, constantly second-guessing every decision and overanalyzing every possible outcome. It left me feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to move forward in my life. But then I realized that the antidote to overthinking is action, taking intentional steps toward our goals, even if they're small or imperfect. It's about embracing the principle of progress, not perfection, and trusting that each step we take brings us closer to our desired outcome. And you know what? The more I took action, the less I found myself trapped in overthinking. Instead of getting lost in endless hypotheticals, I was too busy making progress and learning from my experiences. So here's my challenge to you. Identify one small action you can take today to move closer to your goals. It could be sending that email you've been putting off, signing up for that class you've been interested in, or reaching out to someone. Whatever it is, commit to taking that action, even if it feels scary or uncomfortable. Trust that each step you take will lead you one step closer to where you want to be and be the antidote to your overthinking. We've now gone over 5 principles that we can use to stop overthinking. The more we use them, the more we can control it. See you soon. I'm out.